might be right.
I didn't think it was a striker fire. Most of the P models are not striker fires that I'm aware of. I could be wrong.
Well, the 365, the P365 is definitely different than the 320.
Yeah.
They have a different striking mechanisms. They're known for accidental discharges.
Okay. I can't tell if that's a hammer underneath the slide.
Well, let's just what is this? What is the trigger mechanism of a SIG P320? Put that in there. And what is it that makes it prone to accidental discharges? If you look up SIG P320 online in any search engine, accidental discharge comes up very quickly.
Oh, it is striker fired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a modular striker fire trigger mechanism. When pressed, trigger bar moves forward, disengage the safety lever in C, releasing the striker. Okay, so it's a striker fired pistols. Okay, got it.
So as of 2017, SIG changed the way they make their guns because the trigger itself was heavier than what it is now. And not just the pull, but the actual mechanism of the trigger was heavier. If you drop it, so if this is the barrel of the gun where the bullet comes out and this is where you're holding on your hand, if you drop it, it'll discharge. And it'll discharge without moving the slide, which is kind of crazy. Because what happens is something in the dropping it on the back where the handle is
releases the disconnector probably.
It causes that heavier trigger, the heavier weight to the trigger, to drop down and it will discharge.
Okay.
As of 2017, they made the trigger lighter and it doesn't do that anymore.
Okay.
And there's a whole YouTube video where this guy explains it and shows that you can do it with the older models. If you drop them on their side, they don't do it. If you drop them barrel first, they don't do it. But if you drop them handle first and it hits the back where you hold it, where the the what is it called? The beaver tail the gun sits.
The internal hammer drops and bang.
Exactly.
Got it.
It's one of the only guns that does that.
Yeah.
And so much so that I believe, you should search this, I believe the Dallas Police Department stopped issuing them to their officers. See if that's true before I go further, because I don't want to get into any legal weeds here. But I have one. I have a 320. I've never had a problem with it. Here it is. Dallas Police suspends use of pistol manufacturer. Okay, yeah. And it's because of that. So,
what are these chambered in? 940?
It's 9.
9?
They're 9s. But so that's the gun this guy has. So when this CBP officer grabs his gun, he was moving off and it appears, it's very grainy, the video. It appears there's an accidental discharge. Now, you can make an accidental discharge of this gun without touching the trigger. If there's any kind of pressure on the trigger, if it is a modified trigger, if there's anything that engages with it, even a slight amount, and you move the slide at all, that gun will go off. And there's videos of it online. You could find videos of it online. See if you can find videos of it online where a guy shows how you can get that gun to negligent discharge, because it will. It will. At least the pre-2017 model.
I didn't see his hand go on the slide of the gun though.
Yeah. Well, he's holding it. It's the hard thing is it's fucking blurry.
Yeah, you
shit.
can't see. I looked at it from both angles, but it looked to me like he was holding it
like by the handle with no finger on the trigger.
Yeah.
But it does seem like, at least in some of the takes that I've seen, I may be wrong, but it seems like that gun might have negligent discharged. Now,
usually when someone's holding a gun and there's a negligent discharge, it's because they pulled the trigger, right?
Right.
So in this case, I'm going to assume it for a second. So the gun drops on the side, striker fired. Let's say I don't know what the mechanism is, but let's say the disconnector. That makes the disconnector go. The hammer drops, bam, hits the primer, gun fires.
Gun fires, hits the ground. These guys think, they hear gun. These guys think this guy might have a gun in the scramble. They don't know. This is all seconds.
So they open fire.
High pressure, they open fire on him. That's what I believe happened. So when people say, oh, they straight up executed this guy,
I think there's a little more nuance.
There's more nuance to it. There's chaos. There's the fog of chaos. You're in the middle of this very high stress situation where you've already pepper sprayed this guy. Now you're in a physical scramble. Someone says he has a gun. Gun goes off. Bang, bang, bang. You're just shooting. I'm assuming. This is just a lot of guesswork.
But that's a lot of bad stuff that has to happen in sequence.
Yes.
Like the fact, even if this gun is recalled as a model that had these issues, right? I'm guessing that it wasn't every one of them that had the issues. Some of them, right? Probably not all. And if it's because it has to have a lot of force for it to go off, or the slide has to be, you have to be moving the slide or something like this. What I saw was him holding the pistol how you or I would hold the pistol with the finger off the trigger. Yes. I did not actually see like what would have caused that force.
This is where it gets weird. So there have been documented instances like the SIG P320. There's a lot of legal stuff involved in this. There's tons of cases. Some of them are bullshit. Like there was one cop where they said the cop got shot because the gun accidentally went off, and everybody's like, "Oh man, SIG's in trouble." Turns out that cop had to recant that, and he accidentally hit the trigger and shot a cop. But he wanted. So this is one. So this guy, his gun just goes off. Now he doesn't have his finger on the trigger. It just goes off. Now, there's another one where a cop is in the middle of a precinct and he leans forward. He's got the holster on the outside. He leans forward and the gun goes off. He does not have his hand on the trigger. He's not touching the gun at all. See if you can find the one where the cop does it. So there's a cop where he's in the precinct. His gun is, now here's the question. Was there something touching the trigger? Was it the holster bad? Was there debris in it? Was there something, was his shirt touching it? Did he jam the gun in the holster and maybe like his shirt got stuck in and it touched the trigger a little bit?
There's also the second gun theory.
And then he moves forward. If the guy had a second gun.
There's also the second gun theory.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying, and maybe it met all of the conditions for that. It does seem unlikely to me, but it's possible that he's just holding it and it just happens to go off.
It would seem unlikely with any other gun.
Yeah.
So if the guy had a Glock...
But both of these cases are from the holster. This guy's grabbing from the holster, he's grabbing from the holster. Well, the cop had already pulled it out of the holster, and now he's holding it, and then it goes off.
Right, but it's so low resolution, it's hard to see what's going on with his hands. So if there had been some funkiness with the trigger, who knows where he got the gun? Who knows whether or not that gun had an aftermarket trigger? Who knows what's going on? But as he's doing this, you're in the middle of the chaos, you're ramped up with adrenaline. Who knows if that guy accidentally, while he was holding it, put pressure on the slide and caused that gun to negligent discharge? I don't know. This is the speculation, and the reason why the speculation is so, this is something we're talking about, is because it's a SIG P320.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories about that.
It's not outside the realm of possibility, in other words.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the worst case scenario, right? You got all this chaos, and then you got that fucking gun, and that gun goes
but
off.
let me ask you this. Let's say we adjust for this. There's an investigation. Turns out that this 320 model was one of the ones that, was
an older
issued,
model.
or something like this, or it was issued
Very well
after
could
the
be.
fact, and it's newer. Let's just say it's newer, and they've gotten this design flaw out of there. Let's just assume for a second. All those things being equal now, right? When a leftist points at that and says that's an execution, what's your opinion then? If it's the case, there is no negligent discharge. There is none of that. How would you view it then?
Well, it's an extremely unfortunate case of what happens during chaos.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's an execution. I don't think they pulled the gun from him and then just shot him.
But that's rhetoric being used, right?
It is. But, which you're automatically going to have if you have a guy get shot. Can we watch a video? Let's watch a video and see if we can discern when the shot fires off. Because does it before or after they say he's got a gun? Because someone says he has a gun, one of the officers removes the gun, and then a shot goes off.
Yeah.
Now, there's another speculation that the guy who shot him had a negligent discharge. He didn't, maybe he had his hand on the trigger, and he got a little amped up, and it went off, and then he just fucking
kept
fired
going
into him.
Yeah.
Kept going. That's possible, too. I'm not exactly sure. There's a ton of angles, a ton of different cell phone angles. None of them are really crystal clear.
And the thing that's interesting about this is I'm even willing to kind of grant it to the left. just on appearance alone for a second, just for the sake of like logically taking this to its conclusion. Let's say that the cops were totally wrong on this. They messed the whole thing up. They screwed it up. It was a negligent discharge from the officer himself. It killed this guy. It was totally unjustified. Okay, but now what? Right? Is it the case that we're going to stop deporting illegal immigrants? We're going to stop, that ICE is going to stop, Border Patrol is going to stop doing its job, ICE is going to stop doing its job because of a single incident, even if all of the officers involved were incorrect? Of course not. That's ridiculous, right?